Hello everyone, I would like to discuss today the basic terms which will help the students to understand how the communication between the operating system and the other resources of a computer happens. In fact, the communication takes place between the operating system and other resources like either application programs or between OS and CPU, between OS and other peripheral IO devices. How this happens? It's really interesting. So to understand this, one has to understand the terms like user mode and kernel mode of a system, or user mode and kernel mode of a process. With regard that, in fact, the communication takes place uh, in terms of interrupts, system call, and trap. So the interrupts and system call and trap are very often used terminology in operating systems. Not only that, even in the interviews, very often the interviewers will ask questions on these terminology. So that is the reason why today I would like to make it very clear so that the students can understand the concept how the communication takes place between the operating system and hardware resources of a computer, and also they could able to answer the questions in the interviews. So let us try to understand what is user mode and kernel mode first, then I will shift my discussion to interrupt, system call, and trap. Okay guys, yeah, let us see. So what is user mode and what is kernel mode? In fact in fact when you load the operating system, you can see here, I'm drawing here the primary memory. Let it be RAM. Okay, fine. Now when you load the operating system, the complete operating system will not be loaded. When you switch on your computer, the core part of the operating system or the essential features or the major functionalities of the operating system is being loaded. We call it the portion of the code, we call it as a kernel. We call it as kernel. Okay, then maybe the kernel space, let it be 500 MB. The rest of the memory is used to store or to execute the user applications. Fine, fine. For example, user is executing one process, say let it be P1. User is executing P1. Fine. When user is executing P1, the P1 want to make use of the resources of a computer. When I say resources, say for example, computer resources. When I say resources, P1 want to make use of the IO devices, or maybe P1 want to make use of the CPU, or P1 may want to make use of the files inside the computer, anything else. But see, the process on behalf of the user, when it is getting executed, it is not allowed to access the computer resources directly. That is the reason why the process will be using a system call. The process will be using a system call to make use of the resources. Or else I can say the application program or the process could not directly able to access the resources of a computer. Who can access? In fact, only the kernel code can able to access the computer resources. Okay, the kernel or the core part of the operating system only could able to access the computer resources. Because of that reason, because user application is not allowed to directly access the computer resources, so either P1 even cannot access the kernel address space. This is also not possible. The process could not directly access the resources of a computer, or P1 directly could not access the kernel address space or the kernel level code because of the various reasons. The one reason is if P1 is allowed to access the kernel code, possibly P1 if try to change any data structure of the kernel, then the entire operating system gets damaged. Because of that reason, no user application is allowed to access the kernel address space initially. But there is a provision for the user's process to access the kernel address space using the concept called as system call. Okay, that again I will come back to the system call. The system call will switch over the process, or else the system, when it is system call is being invoked, it could able to access the kernel code. Now it is okay. Now using the kernel address space, the process indirectly, because it is not directly possible. Now the process indirectly using the system call, in the sense using the kernel address space, now the process could able to access the hardware resources. But now what happens is, whenever the P1 calls a system call, whenever a P1 invokes a system call, in fact, the mode of operation of the computer system gets changed. Now, the mode of operation is normally maintained in the CPU registers by the CPU. CPU will be using one of the register, okay, to maintain the mode bit. Mode bit. When operating system is loaded, when it is getting loaded, in fact, the mode bit we call it as 0. It is kernel mode. It is kernel mode. Fine. Okay. Then whenever system call is being invoked, now we are going to execute a code in the kernel address space. Now CPU immediately will switch this bit to yeah, will switch this bit initially. Yeah, initially it is mode bit is 0, means when operating system is getting loaded it is 0. Once operating system is loaded, it is already over, it is inside the computer, then normally what happens, the mode bit is changed to 1. Okay, fine. In the sense 1 means, mode bit is 1 means that is user mode. Mode bit is 1, that is user mode. Now system is in the user mode, but when you are executing an application, for example say P1, now P1 is would like to make use of the hardware resources directly, it is not possible, even it could not able to access the kernel address space directly. So it will be invoking a system call, so that it could able to access the kernel address space. Using the kernel address space or the kernel code, the operating system code only can access the hardware resources. So in such case, whenever the user application invoking a system call, immediately the mode bit is changed from 1 to 0 by the CPU, which will be in the CPU registers. Okay, CPU will be changing the mode of operation from 1 to 0. Now what happens, because whenever the computer is in the kernel mode, now it is in the kernel mode. So when computer is in the kernel mode, then only it could able to access the resources of a computer. That's what uh, the mode of operation. So when system is in the kernel mode, okay, then only the user application could able to access the, or user process could able to access the resources of a computer. But when it is in the user mode in the sense the CPU will be executing only instructions only belongs to the process P1. That's it. These are the P1 instructions written by the user. For example, P1 has got say 1000 instructions. Okay, fine. These 1000 instructions gets executed. That's it. Okay, for that there is no need of the involvement of any system call or interrupt or say any trap. In such case, the system is in the user mode. But whenever P1 want to access any file on the hard disk, or would like to make use of the keyboard to get the input data, or would like to make use of the printer to print anything else, in such case P1 cannot do it on own. So it will be invoking a system call or interrupt or a trap to switch over from user mode to kernel mode. When it is system is in the kernel mode, then the kernel or the operating system code only can able to communicate with the resources of a computer. That's what the mode of operation. Then we try to discuss, okay, what is interrupt also. So in fact, you see, now try to understand the communication between various components of a computer, say CPU and OS. and then OS and say all IO devices. I can say IO devices. I can say the device controllers. The communication between the OS and device controllers, and the communication between the OS and say application programs. Application programs means user programs. Application programs or application programs or user processes. How it happens? How it happens? Now, in fact, the communication between the CPU and OS. Okay, fine. If I really want to represent that, yeah, this purely happens through interrupts, called as interrupts. I will define what exactly mean by interrupts, and the communication between the device um, uh, OS and device controllers also happens through the interrupts, and the communication between say in sometimes it happens between the CPU and the DMA controller that comes in the near future. We will talk about the DMA controller also, which will be used for the data transfer between the CPU and the memory devices or IO devices. Controller also happens through the interrupts, but the communication between the OS and application programs will have very often happens with the system call. Just we have seen already how the system call is being used. System call also we call it as a trap. What exactly mean by this? In fact, what is device control? If, for example, say if keyboard want to speak to operating system, if keyboard want to speak to operating system, how it is possible? Fine. Why keyboard want to speak to operating system? In fact, the in the first lecture we have seen what is device driver, device controller. So the device controller would like to speak to OS, or OS would like to speak to device controller of the keyboard. For example, user application is getting executed which needs input data. In such case, what happens with the moment when user presses a key on keyboard, keystroke is being taken as an interrupt. So when the device when key is pressed, so the device controller has to inform that the key has been supplied, the input data has been supplied. Allow OS, please take it and submit to the user's program. User's program. Okay. So this kind of communication between the all device controllers, that maybe the keyboard or mouse or printer or scanner or anything else, happens through the interrupts. Okay, now if you want to really define what exactly mean by an interrupt, how do you define it? Okay, fine. How do you define it? So I can define interrupt. You can define as, because interrupts are being used for the communication between the CPU and OS, CPU and DMA controller, and OS and device controllers. So in fact, it can be defined as interrupt is a signal generated. It is a signal. I can say it is a signal generated by any peripheral devices, or I can say signal generated by the device controller. What is the purpose of generating this signal? So the device controller will generate a signal in order to grab the attention of the OS, or the device controller would like to inform the operating system the user has already pressed the key, input data is available in the keyboard buffer, please get it and please apply the same to the user's program. So in order to do that, the device controllers will generate the interrupts. In fact, when interrupt is generated, so far the user's program is getting executed in the user mode, and when interrupt is generated, immediately the CPU will change the mode bit to 1, sorry, from 1 to 0. In such case, when interrupt is generated, then the operating system switches its mode to the kernel mode. Then in the kernel mode, it could able to get the data from the keyboard. So that's what you can define interrupt as a signal generated by the any peripheral device or device controller to grab the attention of the OS or to inform something has been happened. For example, say you have the network card. When network card receives a packet of data, when network card receives a packet of data, that informs the operating system, I have um, received the data packet from the external network. So can you please get it? So that's what. So that is called an interrupt. Okay, this interrupt based communication happens between the CPU and OS and device controllers. In fact, when interrupts happens, the system will changes its mode of operation from user mode to kernel mode. Then immediately the CPU, the control will be switched over to the interrupt handling mechanism. We will call it as interrupt service routine. So based on the interrupt number, it will be consulting the interrupt descriptor table, and within the interrupt descriptor table there is an instruction whose address is specified in the interrupt description table. So the control will be switched over to the interrupt service routine, such that the data is taken from the keyboard buffer and the operating system will supply the same data to the program. That happens. Now what is system call and trap? In fact, I say interrupt, they are hardware interrupts. You can call them as interrupt can be renamed as hardware interrupt. Okay, hardware interrupt. In the hardware interrupts, there is a special interrupt called as a timer interrupt. It is called a timer interrupt. The timer interrupt can be defined as it's a special type of interrupt called a timer interrupt, which is generated periodically to get the OS perform periodic tasks. It may be like, say, sometimes in the CPU scheduling, for every process a time slice is given. So when the time slice is being expired, so immediately other process has to be scheduled. So these kind of interrupt we call it as a timer interrupt. A special type of hardware interrupt we can call it as a timer interrupt. Now when it comes to the system call, okay, what is system call? It is like a function call. You know, in programming language we use it to make function calls. It is a function. It is a type of function call that is used to invoke the operating system service which is available in the kernel part of the operating system. In fact, when you make a system call, for example, user is executing, say, you can see that the structure of the computer system. If you see user process, say P1 is the user process, it want to make use of the kernel service, say kernel service. Here it has to invoke a system call. System call interface will act as an interface between the uh, uh, system call. Okay, it acts as an interface between the user's process and the kernel. So because you want to switch the user mode to kernel mode, in such case you can make use of the system call. In programming languages, for example, say when you invoke, say, print system call, printf, normally in the programming language you use a printf function. Okay, fine. The printf function will be invoking a write system call. So using the write system call only, because printf cannot talk to the monitor to print something on the monitor. It is not possible. So printf will be invoking a printf user defined library function. A library function in turn will be invoking a write system call. The write system call, it is a function, but that belongs to operating system kernel. Okay, that belongs to on top of the operating system, not exactly inside the kernel. That will be executing on top of the kernel. So what happens, this will be used to access the kernel code of the operating system, so that the kernel code could able to talk to the monitor to print something. How the kernel code can able to talk to the monitor? Again, you know, the kernel will speak to the device driver of the monitor, and device driver will speak to the device controller, where again interrupt may be generated to inform the device controller to print something on the monitor. That's what things happens. So that's what system call is. Is like a function call which is used to access the service offered by the operating system by the user application. That's what the technical definition. You can please record it. And what is trap? Basically, trap happens when any error happens inside the computer. So trap is being used to handle the error. So when the error happens, the operating system, for operating system, trap is generated. In the sense, for example, user application P1 is trying to access the address space of P2. P1 is trying to access the address space of P2. It is not allowed. In such case, we call it as a trap. Or P1 is trying to access the memory location which does not belongs to P1. Or within the program, you have written, say, you have written an array of size 10, but you are trying to access the array of 11. That is not possible. Any execution time error, a runtime error, for example, a by b division by 0. So runtime error happens. Runtime errors are errors where the programs or the process is trying to access the other's address space. In such cases, we will call it as a trap. In when trap happens, the OS immediately the mode of operation of the computer system will changes from the user mode to kernel mode, and immediately the operating system will either stop the execution of the pre1, or it will suspend the execution of the p1. Okay guys, whenever trap happens, because trap means that something is going to be happen inside the computer that may damage the resources of a computer, okay, or that may impact the privacy of the computer or data inside the computer. In such case, the operating system could able to either terminate or suspend the process or program, whichever the reason for that. We know that in exception handling, because division by 0 happens, what happens immediately? The program is being terminated by the operating system. In fact, what does it mean? The operating system mode of operation of the system is being changed from user mode to kernel mode there itself, because trap is being generated. So immediately the OS will be terminating the the program over there. That's what the guys from my side. So these are the different things you need to understand in order to understand the communication between the how the communication happens really between the operating system and other resources of a computer. I hope you understood this lecture, and I hope you enjoy this. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's from my side. Okay, if you really like this video, for more detailed lectures on operating system, please subscribe my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and even share this. Just you can Google it, Dr. Satyanarayana Nimala. Yes, you can get it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Right. I will see you again with one more video.